Hello, this is Bowblax here, and welcome to one of many future Pikmin 3 discussion videos. I'm going to be doing this through the course of not being able to edit my Let's Play episodes of my blind Let's Play of the game, which is 100% recorded, by the way. And if you want more details on why I can't upload it, please check my big 10-minute long update video. It was the last video I made, so yep. But anyways, today's discussion is going to be the topic of how Pikmin 3 compares to the other Pikmin series, like the other Pikmin entries, because it has been 10 years in between Pikmin 2 and 3, so a lot has changed compared to the transition between Pikmin 1 and 2. And as a little side note, I am doing this unscripted, so yeah, I might have a little stutters and whatever. That's what happens when you're unscripted. Anyways, so yes, there was a bigger gap between Pikmin 2 and 3 than there was between Pikmin 1 and 2. Pikmin 1 and 2, there wasn't really much changes, but from Pikmin 2 to 3, there was a lot of changes, as in HD graphics, new control scheme, new console, new Pikmin types. Well, of course there was new Pikmin types between 1 and 2, but now these Pikmin types can do more. Like winged Pikmin, I'm pretty sure it would have been impossible to make on the GameCube. Rock Pikmin, I don't know. They probably could have been. They actually probably could have been in the on the GameCube, but definitely not winged Pikmin. Winged Pikmin have a very crazy different AI or whatever. I don't know. They fly. Anyways, I do not approve of all the changes they made or how Pikmin turned out throughout the next 10 years, but I don't hate Pikmin 3, I don't hate Pikmin 1, I don't hate Pikmin 2, I love all of these games to death, so if I say anything bad about them, this is just my opinions on stuff, because I have to say some bad things. I can't just flat out praise the game where I could, but then it'd kind of be just a generic video. Oh, Pikmin 3 is great, we get it, blah blah blah. I have actually a bit of concerns. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, Pikmin 3. It does not feel like a sequel to Pikmin 2. It feels like a sequel to Pikmin 1, because most of the concepts that came from Pikmin 2 did not transfer over into Pikmin 3. Like, the only things that transferred over is multiple captains, the ultra spicy spray, which is very optional. It was also optional in Pikmin 2, but I feel like it's more so optional here. Then there is the two power-ups, the anti-electrifier and the Metal Suit Z. Those are the only things that carried over. Purple and white Pikmin are in Pikmin 1, but Pikmin 3, of course, purples and whites aren't in Pikmin 1. They are in Pikmin 3, but they are only in mission mode and bingo battle, and they barely even contribute to the entire game, since mission mode and bingo mode are so small compared to story mode, and so insignificant compared to story mode. Also, in bingo battle, you rarely come across these types. They're more rare than coming across rock or winged or any other type, for that matter. But purple Pikmin and white Pikmin are more prominent in mission mode, but I feel like the other types are even more prominent than them. So even though they are in the other mission modes, they're not as prominent as the main 5 types of the series. I feel like Pikmin 3 really improved the Pikmin interface. Like, this, from throwing captains to switching between things, it's just so streamlined. It's just more open. There's more options. Anything you could have thought of in Pikmin 1 or 2 is say, I wish I could do this. I wish I could throw captains, because I know a lot of people probably thought that. I wish I could do this. I wish I could autopilot some captains going somewhere. I wish I could do that. It's all in Pikmin 3, which is great. But I feel like Nintendo's kind of so glorified on the interface and format of the Pikmin 3. They didn't really focus on the actual game as much. Like, the game is great, but personally for me, Pikmin 1 and 2 are better games than Pikmin 3, but they have worse interfaces. So overall, Pikmin 3 might be a better game, but in terms of gameplay and concept and plot and everything, I feel like Pikmin 1 and 2 are better than Pikmin 3. Like, if they remade Pikmin 1 and 2 with Pikmin 3's interface, with, like, everything that Pikmin 3 has, like the moving captains, maybe getting 3 captains in there or whatever. Well, maybe not the multiple captains, because the Pikmin 1 there's only 1 captain, and that's kind of how it was designed in the gameplay. But I mean, if they like had like the switching and the HUD and everything like the same, I feel like Pikmin 1 and 2 would be better games than Pikmin 3, you know? So, that's just my opinion. Also, back on the topic of Pikmin 3 is basically a Pikmin 2, another Pikmin 2. I talked about the things that did transfer over compared to the things that didn't, but I do think they should have added some things that were in Pikmin 2, like some of the ideas, like maybe dungeons, a few dungeons, maybe not like a lot, maybe 1 per area or 2 per area. Or, like, 1 per area, but then in one area there's, like, 2 or something. Like, I feel like they could have added a bit more areas, you know? Like, underground areas. Maybe made them a bit less subfloors, and maybe focus on the design a bit more and not randomize it. Because I do agree that the Pikmin 2's dungeons got really repetitive and kind of bland in terms of gameplay. But, I do think Pikmin 3 should have had at least some of that. Maybe it was a good idea that they didn't put whites and purples in them, since purples are kind of OP. But I do think there could have been a lot of cool things they could do with whites, like make some sort of poison traps or whatever, because they kind of expanded on every ability of the Pikmin. Like, yellow Pikmin now can, like, conduct electrical circuits and turn on lights. Blue Pikmin can swim. There's, like, deeper water and some, like, blue, more, water elements. There's more just fire stuff in general, I think, for reds. And, you know, I just think they expanded on, like, the abilities of them. Like, not with, like, their straight-up abilities, but just, like, changing the atmosphere around them to make it so they're more useful, and you could use them more dynamically. And I think, poison stuff could have really benefited from that. Like, just, like, I don't know, it could have just been another element to put into the, environment. Like, the Behemoth Phosphate already had poison, so that was a thing they kind of added. The squids had poison, the sputtlefishes, they could have added it in more ways and then added white Pikmin to, like, overcome those obstacles. Like, the geysers, kind of like, you know how in Pikmin 3 there was only, like, barely any fire geysers and you couldn't take them out, just like you couldn't take them out in Pikmin 1? Well, and I know it kind of got repetitive in Pikmin 2, how there was, like, those little electrical circuits that you had to take out all the time, along with the fire geysers and the poison geysers. But since there wasn't really any of those, like, little electrical things, in Pikmin 3, and there wasn't any of those, destroyable fire geysers, I think it'd be really cool to add some of those, put some of those, poison geysers in little awkward places, you know? Because it'd be, like, more dynamic that way, and you could, like, take it out and whatever, and, like, underground stuff again. Maybe make it so there's, like, a way you can easily tell, that there's something underground, but you just need white Pikmin to get it. Like, you can tell it's underground, but you need white Pikmin to actually access it, kind of like that. With some fruits, that would have been cool. So you won't, like, miss it, but you would see it, because, there isn't any treasure gauge in Pikmin, 3, and there isn't any, anything else like that, like, anything indicating, like, if you go on the map. Well, I guess if you go on the map, it does show you where some fruit is, like it did in Pikmin 1 with the ship parts, but, yeah, I guess that would be enough of an indicator. But anyways, yeah, I think, white Pikmin would have been really cool. Purple Pikmin, I feel like they could be more rare than white Pikmin. There's, like, maybe only 2 or 3 candy pop buds that are violet in the whole game. So, you could really only have, like, 15. And it was, like, in a hard-to-access place, because I do understand that every time you go in and out, there's a new candy pop bud. Or maybe they're, like, a wilt forever, so you only can have, like, a maximum of, like, 50 purples ever. But if you made them a little more rare and hard to get, it would kind of be rewarding to take out those enemies, you know? Also, if you don't know, in Pikmin 3, they did take away all of their, for mission mode and bingo battle mode, they did take away all the strength of the purples. Well, like, the battle strength, like the damage to enemies, they do, carry 10 times their weight, but that's their only ability. Plus, they are still also really slow and have that, like, really, low throwing, so it's, like, a really, really bad Pikmin, like, the worst type in the game. Second worst being white for Pikmin 3. Because white, it didn't lose any of its abilities, but there's nothing underground and there's no poison geysers. So basically, it just goes fast and you can use it as a bait for enemies if you can't kill them any other way. That's actually fitting for mission mode, because mission mode, like, you don't save your Pikmin from story mode, unlike in Pikmin 2, where you actually saved your white Pikmin, so you kind of didn't want to sacrifice them, but since it's a mission mode, it kind of makes sense. So I guess white Pikmin are useful in that way, but, you know, white Pikmin and purple Pikmin just feel like an added bonus. They just put it in there because it was in the previous game, so people would get mad at them if they didn't. So, yeah, I think they could have added them. Also, it would make the game a little longer. Like, I do understand they want to focus more on above ground play, which makes sense, but, you know, they could still have a bit of underground, maybe not as much as in Pikmin 2, because, like, in Pikmin 2, like, 70% of the game was, like, underground, and that was, like, a lot, but in Pikmin 3, like, you could just make it more above ground, just make it, like, 70% above ground and 30% underground, you know? Just, like, switch it up. It's just, I don't know. It just kind of bothers me. And maybe they'll add some DLC or something, because in the corner it does say version 1.1.0, and when Mario U got DLC, the Luigi U one, it did upgrade in its numbers, like, to 2.1.0 or something like that. I'm not exactly sure what it is. Maybe they'll have DLC and add that. This is just suggestions. It's like a discussion video. So, yeah, that's kind of my take on it. Yes, and now we have one more thing to address that I don't like about Pikmin 3. It seems like a slower paced game than the other games. I played a day of both of all three games with like all the Pikmin types and everything, just to test out how they like differed. Pikmin 3, their captains are slower, and I'm not just saying that because when I played with Pikmin 2 I had the rush boots. No, in Pikmin 1, Olimar was faster than Alf, Brittany, and Charlie are in Pikmin 3. Pikmin 3, they throw Pikmin slower. I don't know if it's just me, but they throw Pikmin slower in Pikmin 3. I think it's easier to throw Pikmin in Pikmin 3 though, but just because of how you can switch and stuff more dynamically. And it isn't about the Pikmin right in front of you. It's just, like, even if there's, like, a red right in front of you when you switch to rock. Like, if there's a rock in the back of the crowd, they just disappear. And, like, they just teleport to Alf's hand and just gets thrown or whatever for some magic reason. So, yeah, it's much easier to throw, but I feel like throwing is slower. I feel like the game's much slower paced, which isn't bad, but the areas are really big. So, it kind of just makes the game, like, a little sluggish, you know? But, with the three captains, it does help a lot, so. Maybe they just did that so there's more of a reason to be captains. Also, autopilot. The captains move slower than they do if they're not autopiloted. Why? I have no idea. But maybe they want to encourage players so they're not as lazy. They're not like, oh, I'm lazy, I'm not gonna even do shit anymore. I'm just gonna autopilot and sit back and relax and whatever. You know, that's the gamer's choice. Anyways, I think that's enough for this discussion. It's been 15 minutes. I am gonna probably cut a bit out. But I have a comment question to leave for you. What do you think of Pikmin 3 compared to the other two games? Do you think Pikmin 3 is is better than the other two games? Do you think Pikmin 2 is better than 1 and 3 combined? Do you think Pikmin 3 is the best game ever? Do you think, you didn't like the dungeons, you know? You liked that they didn't put dungeons? You didn't like that they didn't put dungeons? You liked that they took out purples? You don't like that they took out purples? What are your thoughts on this whole discussion? please put it in the comments below, or make a video response. That would actually be really cool. Anyways, I've been Bowblax, and I'll see you guys in my next Pikmin 3 discussion. Bye!